Alright, final demo for Bravely Default 2 came out a little while ago. I finished it and took some time to sit down and think about it. No, I have not managed to beat Nightmare yet. I'm working on it. So, in the meantime, I thought I'd sit down and invite all you whippersnappers around the fireplace as I give my thoughts on this most sudden arrival, as I did during the last demo. If you like these videos, a like and sub if you're new would be greatly appreciated. Thank you ever so much. Let's start off with the main part of the gameplay, the combat. Overall, I feel like combat has been improved for the most part. Having the ATB bar was a massive help. Now that we can actually see when characters are going to act, it makes things a lot easier to plan out my actions. But on the other hand, having the bar really made me notice, at least at the start of the demo, that the Braven default system didn't feel quite like it was made for this single person at a time style of JRPG. It works much better with the full team plan format from previous entries. However, it was not unplayable or nigh unplayable, unlike before, so good on them for fixing this up. I'm still not the biggest fan of the 2D combat menu either, still would have preferred just a list like the other games before this, but at least it doesn't hurt to look at now. The status menus for allies and enemies is also a lot cleaner and much more helpful. The last thing that really stood out about the gameplay was the difficulty. I'm not complaining about it. I thought that the challenge level was like a perfect medium rare for me, exactly how I like it, but I do think that this game is probably going to be harder than the last two entries in the series. I also find it just a little bit annoying that enemies counter random things all the time, but you know what? Bring it on, whatever. I'll get through it. Moving on, all the menus in general are a lot cleaner and easier to use. They fixed that god-awful hold X setting when trying to read abilities. I could not stand that. And it's just nicer on the eyes all around while still keeping the cool journal style originally put in place. Text just stands out more as is or is just easier to read, so I really like that they fixed up the menus and all that from the last demo. The job changes were totally expected, and I feel like they're definitely more balanced for the final game compared to Freelancer's Lucky Charm from the first demo. I think that probably the jobs were made in the first demo to just give people an idea of how Bravely plays and less of how the final product's going to be, just to give them that fun, overpowered, unbalanced mess that Bravely can become. I felt like we were given the right amount of stuff to play with initially as well, just the level 10 jobs right off the bat was nice, but we were also kind of forced into only playing with those things because there was not enough time to both enjoy the whole demo experience with cutscenes and all that without rushing, and reasonably level grind. You can't do both in a single playthrough. The 7-hour time limit, well, 5 hours with 2 more added once you beat the story, was a little bit annoying since they could just level limit people so they don't breeze through Nightmare or whatever they wanted. Plus, it's not like there was more story content to do if players had the time to do more that would spoil the game, so the time limit seemed kind of pointless overall. One thing that caught me off guard was the new Asterisk holder theme, and I think that it's just as good as the first one as we got. I'm also excited by the prospect that every region is going to have a different Asterisk theme, or that the lower ranking Asterisk holders are going to have their own theme, and then the big boy, like obviously Bernard, might have his old theme from the last demo. I really like this idea of different Asterisk holder themes, and I'm super duper excited to hear more of them in the future. The rare monster theme was also quite good, very discordant and weird. It reminded me of the Sin Demon Nemesis theme from Bravely Default and Second. B&D was interesting, I suppose. As I was initially looking at it, I thought it was just going to be another area control style game that I already knew how to play, but they threw in some different twists to change it up. I didn't understand it fully, but then again, I didn't really play much because I was trying to beat the secret bosses, so I think with some more playing I'll probably get the hang of it, and I think it's going to be a fun pastime to take a break from grinding when the full game drops, just like how you had Chompcraft in Second. It's going to be a nice little mini game for us. The story was fine, I enjoyed it so far. I feel like this game is going to be themed around going against established systems of rule, based on seeing Bernard and the other merchants running Savalon, or Gloria defending her non-royal allies when Castor made crude comments about them, And then you got the Rheimdall Church persecuting whoever they think is a fairy, probably based on the latest news, etc., etc. That's the kind of theme I'm getting from this story so far, is going against the government or systems of rule. It's going to be interesting, I think. Now, I know that you could change the party's name in the previous games later on in them. I know that Bravely Default, you can do it inside Grand Ship towards the end of the game. I'm pretty sure you can do it somewhere in Second. But I think that it is extremely sus that not only we had the option to rename Seth, but that the cutscenes go out of their way to not say his name. So something is definitely up there. I want to know what the deal is with that. The last thing I really want to talk about today and spend a little bit of time on could also be treated as a bit of a message to the developers, and that's about balance. From playing these two demos, I get the very strong impression that a lot of the big gameplay changes boils down to an attempt to heavily balance this game and try to prevent stuff like Ghost Mage from happening again. And while that is admirable, I do think that some of the changes are hindering the overall product. The inability to choose the whole party's actions at once makes the combat feel awkward with the Brave and Default still tacked on. The fact that you can't Brave and use a special on the same turn pushes this idea forward even harder, and just some other things in general that really shows that they're trying a bit too hard to make sure that we don't break this one. I guess the main point I'm trying to make is that these changes feel like they're taking away from what makes Bravely for some people. Some of us love making these absolutely broken builds and experimenting different classes together to find new crazy stuff to do. We can still do it, there's still classes to combine. That's one of the big appeals of the Bravely games, and while I don't want the game to have 20 different setups that can just auto-fight every boss and not break a sweat, or turn the boss off like Winter Storm on the Adventurer in Second, I also don't want the balancing attempts to overwhelm the fun and creativity that players can experience and express with this game, and it's something that I'm just slightly worried might be happening. Anyhow, overall, despite not having all the changes I was looking for, and looking past my other concerns that I don't really have proof of, this demo was a much improved version of the game, and it really shows that Asano and team really did listen to the player surveys. There still are some things I would have changed or fixed up personally, but at the end of the day, if this demo is supposed to be a fairly close representation of what the final product is going to be like, then I can say that I will be picking up a copy because I really enjoyed it. I had a great time playing this. So what did you think of the final demo? Yay, nay, maybe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, on Twitter, or in my Discord. All those links will be in the description. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you soon.